for joining me again for this Sunday's workout. Let's have a look at what we've got on the menu today. So for the strength piece, we're going to be doing 4 rounds of 12 Sumo Deadlifts and then going straight into 8 Cossack Squats per leg. So we're going to require a lot of hip opening, so that's why we're going to focus on that in the warm-up, which we'll go through very shortly. And then for the workout today, we've got an ascending ladder for 10 minutes. We're going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so on and so forth. With 2 movements, it's going to be burpees over the weight that you've got and a cluster, which we'll explain later on. In the first part of the warm-up, you're going to be doing 2 rounds of 10 Russian baby makers and 20 floor sweepers. That's 10 per leg. So with the Russian baby makers, you've all seen that before. Feet squat width apart, shot just underneath your shoulders, feet slightly turned out. Sit down into that squat. Grab your toes, really try and at the bottom, push your elbows into your knees and keep your chest nice and upright, and then try and extend the leg out and back down again, getting that stretch into the hamstring. And then we're going to continue that stretch into the hamstring after you've done those 10, 20 floor sweepers. So we're going to 10 each leg. One leg fully extended, heel on the floor, the other knee bent, and just gently try and sweep towards the ground, extending further and further as you go along. 10 one side, 10 the other side, and that's 2 rounds. So, as we said at the beginning, the strength piece requires a lot of hip opening, so we're going to focus on that now for the second part of the warm-up, which is going to be 2 rounds, 8 per side of the half kneeling thread the needle, and then 16 bounces in the frog position. So, on that half kneeling thread the needle, you get one leg fully extended, arm on the floor, the other knee's bent, and you just reach through. You're going to feel that stretch through your groin, and open up. That's 1. That's 2. Really spend a little bit of time reaching through just so you can feel that stretch through your groin. So you can do 8 per side of that, and then on the frog, what you're going to do is both knees on the floor, quite wide. Your lower legs are going to be parallel to your body. You're just going to have your elbows on the floor. You're just going to slowly push back. 1, 2, keeping your hips as low to the ground as possible. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, try and widen out your legs, really rock back into it. So, as you go along with that, try and widen out the legs further. Maybe in that second round, go a little bit wider and really push deep back into it. Spend a little bit of time at each end point, so really spend a little bit of time pushing backwards. Now into the strength part. It's going to be 4 rounds of 12 Sumo Deadlifts and 8 Cossack Squats per leg. And you're going to go straight from the Sumo Deadlifts into the Cossack Squats, and you're going to rest after the Cossack Squats. With the Sumo Deadlifts, you're going to have your feet nice and wide apart, your toes pointed out, angled sort of 45 degrees, just so that you can create a lot of space in your hip. I'm going to do this with a dumbbell. If you've got a different weight, then I'll explain that later on, but just trying to really squeeze up through your glutes, open up your hips at the bottom, nice drive through, keeping your torso nice and upright if you can. If you haven't got a dumbbell and your weight's slightly smaller, then don't feel like you have to get it all the way to the ground. If that means bending over, just stay nice and upright. Maybe put a couple of books underneath it just to keep in that nice upright position. So if you've got a med ball or something like that, put a couple of books in it so that you can squeeze it up and not punch over. So that's the Sumo Deadlift. And then the Cossack Squats. Start off just practicing this, so start off unweighted. If you can go weighted, then that's great. If you go weighted, you can hold it in the goblet squat. You're going to do 8 per leg of the Cossack Squats, and I advise doing 1 leg followed by the other leg, just so you can get into a nice rhythm and understand the flow of that. So feet nice and wide. You're going to have 1 foot turned out onto its heel, and then you're going to squat down as low as you can. That's 1. That's 2. Really focusing on keeping the torso nice and upright. It's going to require a lot of groin opening and ankle mobility as well. And then as you progress on, you can do that weighted as well. The focus here is on depth, really trying to get as low down as possible, open up those hips as much as possible. So don't just jump straight to the weight, try and make sure that you're getting a really good full range of motion before you dive into adding weight to that. And so that's 8 per leg, 4 rounds. So now we're on to the workout, which is an ascending ladder for 10 minutes, adding 1 each time of burpees over the weight that you've got and a cluster. So burpees, nice and simple. Chest to the floor at the bottom, and you don't have to reach for an extension at the top, just get over that weight that you've got. The cluster, which is the more difficult movement, so the weight starts on the floor. We're just going to do single arm with this dumbbell. You can go both hands on the dumbbell, and I'll show that as well. So just sitting down in the squat position, grabbing that weight, fully pull up, so really pulling up and then squatting under, and then extending overhead, and that's 1 cluster. If the weight is particularly heavy for you, then don't be afraid to just go 2 arms with that. So the way I like to do it with a dumbbell is go with my hands either side at the ends, again extending up and then pushing through, turning under and pushing through. Good luck with that. Hope it goes well for you. Well done everyone, hope you enjoyed that workout. Now we're on to the cool down. So we're going to start off in the frog position again, but this time instead of that being a dynamic movement, it's just going to be static. So same position, knees wide apart, lower leg parallel with your body, elbows on the floor, and just sit back into it. Really make sure you're getting a deep stretch. If you're not, then just widen out your knees a little bit and just sit into that bottom position. Really push backwards off of your elbows. Deeper as you move along, and you're going to do that for a minute. The next one is going to be a wall sit. Wall squat, so you're going to get your bottom quite close to the wall. You're going to pull your knees in, really grab them in so you're opening up the groin. Arms up nice and high, just opening up your thoracic as well. After those clusters, just hold that position. Again, if you want to get a deeper stretch each time, bring your feet closer to your bottom and bring your bottom closer to the wall. And then the final one is going to be the couch stretch. So just stretching off the quads into a kneeling position. Your foot's up against the wall. The tighter you bring your foot into your bottom, the closer it's going to be. So it's nice and upright. Really feel that stretch through your hip flexor and through your quad. If you struggle to have your foot really close to your bottom, then another way to just stretch more into your hip flexor is to just push that hip forward with your foot still in contact with the wall, and you'll get a deeper stretch through the hip flexor into the quad. Hold each one of those stretches for a minute, and then you're done for today. Again, really hope you enjoyed today's workout, and have a great rest of your Sunday.